If you're looking for a coffee shop in Joburg, you're pretty much spoiled for choice because there is almost one on every corner.
And if you look at all the parking lots outside of all of those coffee shops, you're going to find it filled with entry-level or A-segment vehicles.
Yeah, in fact, that segment of the market makes up 45% of the South African market, and they sold about 200,000 units last year.
That's
so
massive.
If you're a manufacturer, you want a piece of that pie.
Well, I've brought you to a new coffee shop.
Indeed, Olivia's. I've never been here before.
And
I've introduced you to a new A-segment car.
And I'm impressed. I imagine for our consumers it's going to be a bit of a, huh? You mean this manufacturer makes all these big rugged bugger types?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can do small compact too?
Absolutely. Mitsubishi seems to be predominantly targeting this at females. It's the student or, you know, first car buyer.
I just question the whole focus that Mitsubishi has on making this car female, because I'm telling you now, I am so impressed with this car. From a styling perspective, I look at it, I go, I wouldn't be ashamed to be driving this thing, especially maybe because we're in the colour that we're in. It's not.
Sure. It's not cutesy. I personally, I mean, it's always subjective. I'm not wild about the styling. I think it's quite bland and generic from the back. The front's cute, but yeah, you know, it's entry level, so it's not about design really.
Yeah, but it's still some entry level cars. You look at it and you think, shame. That guy obviously could only afford that car. You know, like a Chevy Spark looks like it's a student car, whereas I could probably,
spunky.
Yeah. Whereas this, I think, kind of maybe in colours it crosses over, but I was impressed.
When you talk about it being mature from an exterior point of view, it is also from a driving point of view. Like you were saying, you sit inside the car and it's not cutesy. It doesn't have a little daisy or a flower in a box. Do you know what I mean?
Goodness.
It's just, it feels mature. It's very classy inside.
And it's still got the quirkiness that you're going to get in an entry-level car purely based on the engine. That little three-cylinder, I love the sound of it. I mean, the more you rev it, the more fun the thing sounds. But
1.2, 57 kilowatts,
100 Newton meters.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look, I suppose we look at its main competitor. Now, everyone's always raved Hyundai i10 as being the benchmark. That's a 1.25, so it's got a little bit more low-down torque.
And that is a fantastic engine also.
Very, very good. But for me, where we drove now, we thought, let's go into the worst possible place. Aircon on, up and down, hectic hills in Northcliffe. No problem. Obviously, you threw the gears, but I was really, really impressed with how the car responds, how they put it together. It feels pretty solid.
And even though you're going through the gears and you might have to wind it a bit, consumption is one of the big selling factors of this car.
Well, that's claimed
at 4.9, but on launch, it's a 35-litre tank, so it is small, but they gave us 10 litres, and we had to do like an amazing race around Joburg. And it coped perfectly. It was really, really good.
You and I were talking before, and in terms of awards that they've won, probably most significant is that Forbes magazine most eco-friendly, and it's one of only 2 cars that isn't a hybrid that is in that list. So that leads us to affordability then, doesn't it?
So the little Mirage starts at 125. It goes up to 145 depending on what spec you get. We're in the top spec car, and it's got loads in it. USB, there's loads of safety, airbags.
Everything's color-coded, ABS, EBD, twin airbags, electric windows front and rear.
Which is very impressive.
Auto up and down on the window, electric mirrors.
Multifunction steering wheel, well-spec'd.
But even 125 is well-spec'd, and this is something we need to bring up. That irritates me when you look at a competitor like i10. Doesn't have ABS. Only in the top spec vehicle. You had 125, you're getting all that safety. So that for me is critical.
Yeah, it's good. But the most important thing on affordability of this car is that they have packaged in the first year's insurance, which I know when we get questions on Buyer's Guide and people say, I've got this much to spend, and our panelists say, have you factored in insurance? So this is fantastic. It's all in, and it's R1,000 basically a month.
We don't need to speak about peace of mind motoring when you get to Mitsubishi. It's such a reputable brand. But I suppose still having a service plan, 2 years, 30,000 maintenance, full service, that's important, and the warranties. So it's so beautifully packaged that you'd be a fool not to actually go, hang on, let me have a look at this Mirage. So Lindsay, I've been trying to figure out where Mirage got its name from, because it's certainly not a supersonic car. And then I thought, you know what, it's that Mirage you see in the desert. And then when you get there, there's nothing there and you're disappointed. For me, I've seen the Mirage and it's actually better than I thought.
I know, you're very impressed with this car. For me, I'm going to take it back to the coffee where we started. You get coffee shops, and then you get coffee shops. You know, you get Wimpy, and then you get Vida. And each one serves up a different kind of coffee. They're not all the same. So for me, espresso is not really always my cup of tea.